Sorry for the delay, but it's finally time for May. And I'll stop rhyming. I'm sorry about that too. This is Nintendo Maniac with the Nintendo release report of May 2023. The first game I need to address is Moonscars. You may be expecting this on May 26th, but according to retailers in Europe and in the US, it has been delayed. How fitting. It's now set at June 30th, so I'll be addressing this in next month's release report. Now to the actual May releases. The first one came on May 4th, being No Place Like Home. What do you do when your grandpa is missing? You take care of his farm, allow cows inside of the house, and put hats on the animals. No Place Like Home is a wacky post-apocalyptic farming sim that has already been released on Steam and joined the Switch on May 4th on the eShop. There is a physical release coming, but so far only PlayAsia has that set at July 14th. Reviews on Steam are positive, however the game seems to suffer from a lot of bugs. Perhaps the Switch release will see at least some of those fixed already. You hear about hand-drawn games from time to time, but I think none gives that impression more than Inked: A Tale of Love. This story-driven puzzle adventure is not a new game. For the Switch, it has been available on the eShop since 2021, but collectors may want to pick up the physical edition that Red Art Games will release on May 5th. All 2900 copies will have a reversible cover, but the first 1000 orders will get an A6 notebook as a bonus. They've updated their website, so now you can actually see how many are still available, which currently is 100%. I'll put a link to their product page in the description. I can't really show My Friend Pedro without restricting this video to adults only. The game has already been out for ages on the eShop, there's also a physical copy in the US and the sold out Special Reserve Games version. But now Europe and Australia got their own physical copy on May 5th. And another mature rated game. If you're into old samurai movies, perhaps you'll be interested in Trek to Yomi. It's a hack and slash samurai game made to give that feel of those old movies. It's been available on the eShop since January and has been well received. The physical release was on May 5th, and besides the standard edition, an ultimate edition has been available, containing an ultimate box, an art book and the soundtrack on CD. I'm of the opinion that we should see a bit more Mario Party games. So when I saw a board game with minigames, I'm intrigued. Dokapon Kingdom Connect still is quite its own thing though, and I would caution you to get this thinking of a Mario Party experience. However, if you do think this is something fun for you to get on the 9th of May, consider getting it from the iffy stores and get a free trading card. The EU and UK stores mention this will be a Dokapon Kingdom Connect trading card, the US shop doesn't really specify it. Link to the games of those stores are in the description. I am including Garden Simulator cause it will get a physical release on May 19th, with the eShop getting it on the 10th. That's my reason you see this. But what you see isn't the Switch trailer, but the PlayStation one, as there's no Switch trailer. Nor do the publisher and distributors mention this game on their sites as far as I can tell, and yet quite a good score on Steam. And all people can say is that it's relaxing and complain about multiple stuff. I wish this was just an eShop game and I could have ignored it completely. I'm not a biker nor a race game fanatic, nor have I played the first two entries. So when it comes to TT Isle of Man, Ride on the Edge 3, I'll have to judge by the reviews of those earlier games. And those reviews aren't too bad, but aren't great either. It kind of comes down, I guess, to this not being a game you want to play on the Switch if you have other options available. But it's also not like we have a lot of bike games coming around all the time. So it's definitely worth bringing this to your attention. Nacon, the company that publishes this, has quite some videos of this game on their YouTube channel. So you may want to check that out. I'll put a link in the description. And if that makes you want to get it, you can do so on May 11th. Look, all these other games matter, but the month May belongs to The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. This simply being the sequel to Breath of the Wild was enough to get a hype train going. But then all the gameplay footage we got and the little story teasers we found were at a whole new level. We already got the Tears of the Kingdom themed Switch console in April. Now on May 12th we get the limited edition that contains the steelbook, the art book, the icon card poster and the pin set. But it'll be tough and probably expensive to get your hands on that one still. There may still be some pre-order bonuses around, which I have reported about previously too. However, these are getting hard to get as well. Probably easier to get is the Link amiibo, that will be also released on the same day, as well as the new Pro controller and the Switch carrying case. Keep watching, cause there's still something about Tears of the Kingdom later in this video. But if Zelda isn't your thing, on May 12th you also have the option of Family Fun Night, which has 14 classic games to play with friends and family and doesn't mention the single player experience at all. It suddenly appeared to have been released late April here in Europe and apparently already is available on the eShop since March. But it's included in this report because of its physical release for the US on May 12th. Trinity Trigger was in the April release report because of its US release. Now on May 16th, Europe will get their physical edition. Sadly, unlike the US, we don't get any special editions. Winter's Wish Spirits of Edo is a visual novel, and I know how that scares some people. Set in historical Japan, it tells an emotional story with different endings to discover. On May 18th we get 2 physical editions. Besides the standard edition, we get the online exclusive edition that's only available at the publisher's website, Axis Games. That version contains the soundtrack on CD, while the UK and EU also get 7 character cards. Unfortunately, both the EU and UK stores are sold out for that online exclusive edition. However, the standard edition can still be bought from them, which you may see in stores also a bit later. I've put links to the different Axis stores and versions in the description. Demon Gaze Extra was already covered in the release report of March, but it has apparently been postponed till May 19th. Also, I seem to have implied a normal edition will be released, but it looks like only Red Art Games is releasing a physical copy, which they call a Day 1 edition. Some may think LEGO 2K Drive has a physical release. Well, it's just a download code that you'll find in the box on May 19th. Honestly, don't buy this game. The trailer pissed me off so much by showing the Hamburgini that you only get in the Awesome Rivals edition for about €100 or dollars, or purchase extra with the standard edition. So no physical cartridge and immediately additional purchases. The 2K in the title probably stands for the amount of money you'll be spending in this game to get a decent experience. But if you really must get it, look into that pre-order bonus. The 2010 game Toy Soldiers got its AD version already on the eShop worldwide, but this war action strategy game will see a European physical release on May 19th. I doubt the US publisher will come with the US physical release, but to be fair, it does say on GameFAQs that it's to be announced. Yet that publisher has just one game ever. But as the European publisher does ship internationally, if you want to make sure you get your own hard copy, use the link in the description. The newest entry in the Puzzle Bobble or Bust a Move series is Puzzle Bobble Everybubble. I don't need to go into the story here. It's a fun puzzle game in a series nearly 30 years old, not counting the original Bobble games. The big puzzle here, however, is the versions available. Retailer seems to have a standard edition, but I found one local retailer that sells it as a limited edition and shows a keychain with it. For all I know, this comes with all retail copies. For the really special editions, we have to look at strictly limited games. Who has a limited edition with a manual and a reversible cover, but no keychain? A collector's edition with the manual, a sticker sheet, a bubble bottle, a squishy, a mini puzzle, the soundtrack on 2 CDs, that rubber keychain, a reversible A2 poster and an art book, which all comes in a collector's edition box with magnetic latch. You could also get the collector's edition in a bundle with the Bob and Bob plushies that apparently have sound. And just to be complete, they had free art cards, but those are already sold out. While the retail release will be on May 23rd, the strictly limited games releases will be on May 19th. Fittingly, on May 23rd, Justice will be served with Farming Simulator 23, being a Switch exclusive. Well, if you don't count the mobile phones at least. The last farming simulator for the Switch was 20, So it's good that fans will see a new one finally. And when it comes to these sims, if you like the genre, you'll probably get this one. And otherwise, you aren't even listening to this anymore. Another hand-drawn indie game is coming on May 23rd, being The Night Witch. It's a Metroidvania style shooter, though reviews do mention it's still pretty linear and quite difficult. The game is already on the eShop since last year, and now Team 17 brings us a deluxe edition, which should contain the digital soundtrack, some art cards and a reversible inlay, going by the PlayAsia description. An all-you-can-eat survival adventure. Well, that sounds intriguing. Monster Menu: The Scavenger's Cookbook is a strategic RPG which emphasizes eating the meat of the monsters you defeat to grow stronger. While it got my attention, the gameplay looks so up close that I felt like watching a 3DS game with superb graphics. Being an NIS release, we can expect special editions. Once again, the EU store fails to have this game at all, but the UK store sells the deluxe edition, which some retailers should have too, and contains the digital soundtrack and the mini art book. They also have the limited edition, which is also available in the US store, which contains the deluxe edition plus an extra art book, the soundtrack on 2 CDs, an apron, salt and pepper shakers and 4 art cards, all included in the collector's box. Honestly, I like what they put together for a limited edition. The US release is on May 23rd, while Europe will have to wait till May 26th. I'll put the links to the NIS stores in the description. Fitness Circuit comes out on May 26th, and the name is self-explanatory. It's funny how the website in their short description mentions strength twice. I can understand the aerobics and burning calories, but the exercises you can do with this game won't make you buffed. But it does look like a decent and fun take on fitness games. So it wouldn't hurt to get the demo from the eShop and give it a go. We haven't seen a pixelated game yet, so here is Colt Canyon. It has been on the eShop since 2020, but thanks to Red Art Games, we will see a physical edition of this cowboy gunslinger game on May 26. Link to Red Art Games is in the description. Goodbye World tells the story of 2 game developers whose games won't sell, and then one makes a decision. With that title, sounds very foreboding. Reading the Steam reviews, this isn't for everyone, and honestly, the blurriness of the art style concerns me a bit. Yet I'm also intrigued by it. Being already released on the eShop, Europe will get a physical edition on May 26. The US will have to wait. Amazon says June 30th, PlayAsia says July 7th. So the date is still up in the air. Saga of Sins is an action-adventure with a story of atonement, featuring the 7 deadly sins. The world is made of stained glass inspired by the Dutch painter Hieronymus Bosch, which seems to fit perfectly with this game and makes it quite unique looking. It's one of those games that is already on the eShop in the US and will arrive in the European eShop on May 26. And as the publisher is European too, we get a physical edition. Retailers could have it, but I'll put a link to the publisher's website, which ships internationally. And those were the releases for May. But if you think I forgot to mention any, please let me know in the comments. Also, when you enjoyed this content, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. I promise the June release report will be on time. Now, let's have a quick look at some later releases. Fans and collectors of strategy guidebooks, rejoice! Piggyback will be coming with the official strategy guide for Tears of the Kingdom, which looks to be on June 16th. So far only one shop has been offering it, and it's a Spanish store. They have the standard edition priced of around €25 and the collector's edition at €35. Keep an eye out for these books if you want to get your hands on one of them. Unsouled will get a physical release by Red Art Games, which will be the collector's edition with the soundtrack and the art book. It will release on July 13th, but because stock is limited and already low, I'll put a link to the website if you want to consider ordering this. We have waited ages for this, but it looks like the Mythra and Pyra amiibos are finally getting their release on July 21st. The Super Mario Bros. Movie, DVD and Blu-ray releases are slowly approaching. I even saw May 16th, but I'll eat my cappy if that were true. No, June seems to be the earliest possible, but at least the pre-orders are on the way. The exclusive limited edition seems to be a US only release, but has already been sold out as far as I can tell. At least there's still the limited edition steelbook out there, which seems to be limited to the 4K Blu-ray release. And I'll add Master Detective Archives Raincoat once again, as that's the game I look forward to most for this year, after Tears of the Kingdom of course. And not just because of its fun, mysteryful limited edition. Master Detective Archives Raincoat is set to release on June 30th. And that's the end of this release report. Once again, my apologies for the delay. Trust me when I say it wasn't by choice. The next one will be on time and I hope to see you there, and perhaps in the meantime in other upcoming videos.